Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So today we'll be making out a news app, but what will be the difference in that news app? So basically that news app would be a kind of a speaking news. Now speaking news actually means that okay. I would just enter out any sentence and as soon as I just let it know that okay I need to get out the news for the sports. So what it will do, it will print me out that particular statement which I had used it to speak out. Let's say I just asked it to speak out. As soon as I enter out the particular field that okay I just want the news for this particular field, it should speak out that okay. So retrieving or getting out this news for this sports field, now you'll be able to read that out. Let's select this right and the onto the output you'll be getting the all the news of that particular field which we are actually having, which you are actually entered, right? So this is the whole idea regarding today's project. So yeah, it is gonna be too much of interesting in this project, so let's get started. Okay, so what I would just do here is that I would be first of all importing out the libraries which I just want here to be imported so as to begin up with this project, right? So I would just write here import speech underscore and here goes a recognition as SR. So speech underscore recognition is one of the libraries which I am importing here and giving it a short form as SR. Okay. After this, what I would just do, I would import out the PyTTSX library. So import, I would just write PY SX3. Okay. Now basically if you do not have these libraries actually installed onto your device, so what you can just go, you can just click on the terminal outside and write out the command that is pip install and what are the particular library you want to install. Or let's say I just wrote out here pip and then goes the install and I would just write the PYTTSX3 like this I just wrote. Okay, and hit enter. So for me it is already like installed, so for me it will show that requirement already satisfied. But if you haven't done that thing till now, so for you it will basically show that installing, and after that finally it shows that installed. Okay, now I will just close it out here. And even if you have just not like installed a speech recognition as well, so install the speech recognition as well onto your devices, right? Now come to the new line, and what I would just do, I would just write here from Google News import Google News. Okay, from Google News import Google News, right? So this is another one of my libraries which I had taken out. You can install this as well. I just told you the correct procedure for doing out all of those things, right? Fine. Now basically what I would just do, I would just do out the initialization for the particular for the voice. As I mentioned that it will be a speaking thing like that. So I just want to initialize some things for this particular. Fine. I would just write here news, a variable which I had made out. Okay, so news is equal to, and I would just use out that library which is Google News, right? So this is how we just use out this particular library, news equal to Google News. Fine. Now what I would just do, I would just take out a variable. Let's say that is a, and into that what I would just do, I would just initialize out my PyTTSX library, right? Okay. So there are some libraries in Python programming language. So in that libraries, what happens if I just want to use out any of those library? So first of all, I just need to initialize that library. After that only, I could just use out that particular library, right? So I just initialize that PyTTSX3 library into a variable that is a. Okay. So I would just write here next variable which is let's say speak underscore voice and put equal to sign. Now basically here we're using first of all the variable in which I had initialized out my PyTTSX3 library, so that is a for me. Put out, now I would just use out here the function that is get property. Now what property I just want from this PyTTSX3 library? So one of the properties which I want from here is voices. Okay, voices is one of the property which I want. As I told that this is a speaking one thing, so in that we're needing the voices, right? So I just put on that particular thing here. After that, okay, after that I would just again take that a dot and I would just now set out the property. First of all, I'm getting out the property that is voices. Now in that voices I would be setting out a specific property that I just want the voice of a male or a female. Okay, so I would just first of all into the bracket I'll be putting out the voice here. Okay, this is done. Now what I would just do here is that I'll be putting out a comma and I would just write here voices, and into the bracket I would be putting, okay, that is not voices, that is speak underscore voice. So speak underscore voice, right? And into the bracket I'd be putting out, now if you just want the voice of a male, so in that case you'll be putting out 0 inside the bracket. If you want the voice of a female, so in that case you'll be putting out 1 inside the bracket. Okay, so I just want out the basically the voice of a female, so I will just put out here as 1. Put out a dot and write your ID. So this is how you just put out a particular voice. You just want it of a female or a male. for male, here just remove this one and put 0 instead of that. Okay, right. Now basically after this I am having one variable. I will just make that here recognizer. Now what is this recognizer will do? This will basically help us to recognize the voice. Now how it will recognize the voice which I will be saying? So that will recognize with the help of this speech recognition library which we are having. So I will just use here SR instead of speech underscore recognition, because I have given that short form here to use this library throughout my project. Right, so SR dot, and here I'll be using out a function which is recognizer, and put out the brackets like this. Right, so here we had done out the initialization for the voices, for recognizing the voice and all those things we had done out, fine. Now, what's the next thing that we'll be doing out here? So now we'll be writing out the commands. Okay, so dev and okay. So now basically inside that I'll be using out the microphone as a source and all those things I'll be doing inside this particular function. Okay, so my function name would be, let's say, speak underscore news. Okay, this is my function name which I'll be making out. Fine. Now coming on to a new line, what I would just do here, I would just now I would just initialize my source. Okay, source means the microphone. Okay, because I'll be speaking to the microphone, so that only I'll be putting out here. Okay, so I would just write here with SR. SR is the short form which we had given, right? So I would just write that SR dot microphone with SR dot microphone, put out the bracket as okay, that is source. Now what I'm just writing out here, this means that I had set out the microphone as my source. Okay, so as soon as I just speak something, that microphone is my source onto which I'll be speaking out whatever the particular field news actually I just want out. Fine. Now, first of all, what I just want to clear out all of the background noises which would be coming, because if the background noises would be coming, then in that case, it would not be able to recognize your voice properly. Let's have just try to print a statement that firstly clearing, that is clearing, okay, clearing, clearing out the background noises, noises, right? First I'll be clearing out the background noises. Fine. Come to the new line. Now what it will do basically, now I'll be just using out that recognizer variable which I had made. That, okay, not return, that is recognizer actually, okay. So now I'll be putting out that recognizer. So I would just write recognizer. Now after that recognizer, put out a dot. Now what I just mentioned, that will be clearing out the background voice. In that case, I'll be using out a function that is adjust underscore for underscore ambient underscore noise. This is my function that I'll be using out, and this function is particularly used for clearing out the background noise, whatever is coming. And why we just need to do that particular thing? We need to do that particular thing because if you would be having your background noises, so in that case, your voice, whichever you are having, it will not be able to detect that voice carefully. Okay, so recognizer dot adjust for ambient noise, right? Into the bracket. Now inside the bracket I'll be putting out the variable which is source. Okay, I'll be putting down that comma, I'll be put down, and here I would just write here duration. So duration is equal to, now what's the duration? Okay, we can just give out some duration of our choice. Let's say I would just give you as 0.6. okay, right. So after that, what I would just write now, I would just write out a printer statement that now you can ask me anything, the news for whatever you just want. So I would just write that okay, I would just write that tell me the topic for which you want the news. Okay, tell me topic for which you want out the news. Right, so this is the basically print statement which I just wanted to print out here. Now what I would be just doing out here is that I would be using out one another variable, and that another variable, what it will do, it will actually record out or listen to, basically listen to my voice whatever I am be speaking. Okay, so after listening, it even need to recognize out that particular thing, that's what I am speaking, right? So it would just do that particular thing. So I would just write here listen underscore voice, okay, is equal to, and I will just use that recognizer, the variable which we had used out, dot, and my function which I'll be using out here is listen. Okay, recognizer dot listen. Into the bracket, I'll be putting out that source which we had taken. After put out a comma, and I will just give out a variable for the timeout. and timeout, let's say I just want to give out just one. So if till 1 minute I haven't spoken any particular thing, so it will show me that the time is out, and basically we are not able to listen whatever you have just set out, right? And after that, just print me a statement that your topic, okay, I would just say that your voice has been recorded. If this particular above statement works out, then just give me out this particular thing that your voice has been recorded. Okay, now this is a program in which I'll be using out the try and except functions. Okay, so I would just write out now my try and here come down. Okay, just one thing. We are writing all of those things inside the function only. So this is my function. Inside that only I'm just using out this try function. Right, so just make sure to see out these things carefully. Right, now what I would just do, okay, I'm just using out some variable, and in that I'll be just putting out a recognizer. So I would just write here that okay, news is the one which we had already made out, and okay, I would just write here news underscore txt. Okay, news underscore txt, my variable. Now into that I'd be using out the recognizer, and from that I'd be using out the function which is recognize underscore Google. Okay, so for the from where we're fetching out the news, we're fetching that news from the Google, right? So in that case, I just use out recognizer dot recognize underscore Google, and into the bracket I'd be putting out the variable which I had made above, into which we had made out this listen underscore voice, this one, in which I had put on the recognizer and then the listen function, and that was actually listening to our voice, right? This was the variable, so I put out that comma. Now what about the language which we have? So I would just write here language is equal to, and yeah, that language we just want English. Okay, and here you can just put out US as well, as this is English for the US, right? Right here, just one second, let me just go back to this thing right here. Okay, fine. Now come to the new line. What I could just do, I could just again use that news underscore txt is equal to, and here I could use that news underscore, okay, I'm sorry, right, oh, this above one, news underscore txt dot low, right? I just use out the lower function, and simply I could just print out here that your message, MESSAGE, your message which you said is, and it will basically display me even the message which I had said out, so as to confirm that is that message which I had put or not, that is absolutely right or not. Like basically it has like exactly guessed out and listened out the correct thing or not, right? So this is the confirmation for this particular thing. So try function is actually completed now. Simply we could just write except here. Just one second, here goes the except, and I would just write except exception as, and I could just simply write here, let's say E. Okay, except exception as E. Come to the line, and I would simply print out here as E only. And like basically if any exception comes, then in that case that will be printed for me here, right? That is absolutely okay. Now after this, basically what I would be just doing out, I'll be putting out different things. Now, what kinds of news we are actually having? We are having the headlines, we are having the tech field, we are having the sports, we are having the politics, all of these types of news we are having, right? So for that, I will be putting out different if conditions, and make sure everything is right now as well done inside the function only which we had made out. Okay, fine. Okay, so what I would just do, I would just give it for headlines. For headlines are basically the headlines which we are having for now, right now. Okay. So for headlines in, and my variable is news underscore txt, right? Come to the new line. A was the variable in which we had initialized out the PyTSX3 library, right? So I will just use that here, A dot, and I would just put on say. Now, this is the particular line that your in that you'll be getting out the voice from your computer or your laptop, whatever you're just using out, right? So here, whatever sentence you'll be writing out, that sentence would be said with the help of that PyTSX3 library. Fine, so I've just put out the thing that okay, I will just write here wait, okay, wait, getting getting news for you in the field in the no I would just write getting headlines of today for you. I just want this particular statement to be printed with getting headlines of today for you, right? And after that, I would just write a dot run and wait. So as soon as this postal line is run, after that it will basically run and wait. It means that it will basically retrieve out the headlines for me. Okay, coming to the new line. Now here basically what I would be using, I would be using Google News. Okay, I would just use that Google News. Okay, that is Google Google News, Google News dot, and I would just use your get underscore news. Okay, Google News is not the variable which we had made out. Let's see that what variable we had made out above for the Google News, and what was that actually? Let's go above. Right here, so we had made out, and let me scroll to, okay, we had made out news instead of Google News. Fine. So here I would simply write news only. Fine. So news was the variable which we had actually made out. So I would just put that particular variable. So news dot get underscore news. It will basically help me to get out the news. And I would just write here today's news. Hit okay, that is okay, we do not put out this here. Fine. So today's news headlines are, okay, I'll just put it out like this. Fine. So this will actually retrieve me out the today's news headlines which are actually, and after that I could just make out a variable, let's say that is b, and I would just use out here that news variable which I had made out, just put out that here news dot, and I would simply print out the result here. So I would just simply write result. Result is a function which will help me to get out all the news headlines for today. Okay, after that okay, so B is equal to news. No, not that B. Simply this would be this only. News dot result only it would be. After that, in the next line, I will be writing out B is equal to, and I would just use here again news dot get text, this function. News dot get text. This will basically help me to get out the text for all the news headlines which we are actually having out, right? And I could just simply print that out. So inside the print statement, I could use as a star, and my variable is b. Into the bracket, I'll be putting out 1:5, comma separated by the commas. Okay, now this will actually let me know that basically total how many news I want. It will start from 1 and end up till 4. Okay, so in that case, and that would be separated by different commas. Right, now just let me come down here, and fine, let me just now come to this particular place. What I would just do here now, I would be writing here next condition for the if. So if now it comes about the, let's say, now the third thing which we are having, let's say that is for us as a sports. Okay, if is sports, right? So if is sports in, and I would just write here that news underscore txt, put out the bracket and colon, come to the new line. Okay, let me just copy out all of these things which I have written, because that will absolutely remain same. Only a few changes would be made onto here, right? So let me make out that particular changes. So a dot say, now I'll be changing out my statement for the just say wait getting headline. So I would just write here wait getting sports, okay, wait getting sports news for you of today. Okay, I just want this. Fine. And after that, run and wait is actually okay. And here today's news, okay, I will just print out here today's news for, okay, here we do not print out any statement, because sports is the word that we'll be writing out here to get out the news for the sports from the Google. And here as well, I would just not write anything like this, that today's news headlines and all those things. Let me remove it out. I would simply put out one single sentence here, and that basically the sentence which I'll be putting out, one, not that syntax as well, simply one line. Okay, so I will just put out here today news. Fine, so today news is done. Fine, so here I am having sports, that is absolutely okay. This B and all those things are actually fine. Everything would absolutely remain out the same only, right? None will be like changed out or made any difference like that here. After this, I could just put out any other as well. Fine, let me just copy this again. Control C, and now just let me come down at this particular place. Give me tab space. Fine. After sports, I could just put out here whatever I just want. Let's say I just want for the tick, so I could just write out here as tick, right? So here I can just write that wait getting a technology news for you of today. and instead of this sports, I could just simply write out here as tech. Okay, I could simply write out tech. Now this procedure basically continues on. Whatever the n number of things you just want to put out here, you can just put out. I'm just not putting anything. I'm just like everything. I'm simply taking these three variables. Okay. Okay, why I had just put out these brackets after this? These are not required actually. Let me remove that from here as well. Okay, and the last step, very last step that we are actually left out here is we will be calling out our function now. Just 1 second, yeah. So function calling would be done outside the function only. So let me just come down from here. And my function name was, what was the function name? Let me go above and see out. That was speak underscore news. And simply I could just write here speak underscore news, right? Now it's the time for basically running out the program. So let's see that how it actually runs right here. Okay. So yeah, it will be just printing out something. Hold on. Okay, so what it is saying that speech period write time or listening time not while speaking to face to face. Okay, fine. Let's close this out. Let's again run it out here. So click on run news speaker and right. Let that actually work. Okay, so it's again saying that wait time out here listening time. Okay, fine. Let me just figure that out. Just hold on. Right. So basically it was giving us error because as I mentioned that we had given out a very short duration that is 2.6. So as soon as it gives us a line which is tell me topic for which you want out the news, quickly we just need to pull out that particular topic and let it actually know. Right, this is the idea for this particular program. So what I would just do, I would just now click on run it out here, and now I would be searching out first of all for the tech. Okay, okay, not the tech. Let's say it's for sports. So I would just say that give me the news for sports. Okay. Let's run it out here. Give okay, so let me close it out once again here, and as soon as that I run it, get me the news for sports. See, it has shown me that. Yeah, now my voice has been recorded. After that, it showed me that get me the news for sports, and even it just said out that particular thing as well. Right now, here downside it will display me some of the news for the sports of today. Right now, even this thing actually it is retrieving out all the things for the from the Google, so it will take out the time according to your internet bandwidth, whichever you are having. It just tells out you something that plans after policy but isn't going anywhere. Some Olympic medal winners receive cash bonuses. Industry also win Olympic medals. When it is Bajrang Punia's next match and all those things it's getting out, right? So I could just now close it out this program here. Right. Now I would just give it one more try. Now I would just not speak anything in between. You just listen out to the things which is saying. I will just go it for the tech now. Okay. So it's again click it on right here. Get me the news for tech.
Wait, getting technology news for you of today.
Right. So just you have listened out, it gave me the particular sentence which we had written out that getting your technology news for today, and after that it showed me this particular message which I put on that get me the news for tech, which I had actually spoken out. And yeah, this is the one for the tech, that 3 strategies for rolling out new tech within your company. China's sweeping crackdown to big tech is a wake-up call for the US, and everything is, you can just read that out. Okay. And it is displaying me 4 rows because I had mentioned out 1:5. Now if you just change out that particular thing, it will display you accordingly, right? So hope you just got the idea that how you can just make out this voice speaking news app, and basically you can just retrieve out the news with the help of the Python project as well, right? So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care.